Scene 1,027,400. Hey y'all, Artist Poet Girl here, also known as APG Jamie, and today we're going to work on that there mixed media experimental canvas. And I need to keep an eye on my time because parts are sped up and it makes my voice get all wonky and out of sync and salt and stuff. So anyway, I have this acrylic painting on heavy watercolor paper, and I don't like the little strings that I have on there, so I'm removing them even though they were glued on. And yeah, it pulls up some paint, and yeah, no worries, we're getting it covered up. So anywho, covering that up. What else could I tell you? Musical interlude. Just a musical interlude for you, for me, for we. Musical interlude. It's been a while, right? Well, in my head, it's been a while. If you're binge watching, it may not have been very long. Okay? So there we go. We got all our little white spots covered back up, and you really can't hardly see them. And to ensure that, I'll put some texture on there later. So I want to pop up my focal image, and I'm going to use this balsa wood to do so. Cutting it to size. It's a very lightweight wood. You can actually even use scissors with it depending on how thick it is. So I'm going to glue the two pieces together with wood glue because it's wood, and that's going to dry over there to the side for a while, and we're going to go back and work on our focal image. She's got some turquoise teal colored dots painted on her, and I thought I'm gonna want to bring them out, so I'm going to use this here glitter glue, aka faux stickles. Could you see it? I'm using washi tape to cover up my image there, because now we're going to add texture with modeling paste through a stencil. I don't really have a list of ingredients. You can pretty much see what I'm using pretty much, lady. It's East Texas talk, y'all. Other side of the pine curtain. That's the stencil we're using. And gonna smoosh it all up in through there. I did get a little bleed under, and I clean it up in a minute. See, cleaning it up. So it was more like a second. It's really fast hands. And I go over it a couple times with the stencil. Need to let it dry between layers and whatnot. So yeah. Didn't like it white, which I really had no intention of leaving it white, but you never know. It might have fell in love with it. So just painting over that with black, as you can see. And the canvas board was already painted. I don't know what I painted it for. I might have been painting over something, but it ended up being a good color, and I had a frame to fit. So yeah, it's all going together. Using matte medium to adhere down a die cut clock sort of die cut thing. It was a painted paper, and it's pretty distressed. Okay, while that there matte medium dries on the die cut, we're going to adhere down our focal image, and that's Aileen's. Tack it over and over. And when you're gluing heavy watercolor paper to something else, spritz the back of it ever so lightly with water, and that really helps it to glue together very happily. And I'm using a cotton washcloth there to smoosh it around, and yeah, stuff like that. Woody's gonna come help us in a second. Woody. And there, see, Woody. Now moving on, we're going to make our own designer deli paper. And I'm using clock faces, watch faces, and I'm using black and sepia inks because I want two tones. And I spin the paper around so that I don't get a certain direction to the paper. With our designer deli now torn into pieces, we're going to use the matte medium to adhere it onto the canvas board. Yeah. Going to leave that lower left-hand quadrant more or less empty because that's where the focal point piece will be glued on, adhered on. Going to use my washi tape again, and we're going to make it so that it folds over with the sticky part sticking to the drop paper, and I'm going to be sticking the letters on. These are grunge board letters, and we're going to be painting them black. Once that gets all dry, I go over it again with the glitter glue and go over the glitter glue with some glossy accents because I wanted that to have a stand-up-y, glassy kind of look to it. So I'm kind of having a time. The battery died on my voiceover recorder. I use a little tiny digital recorder. And then I had to plug my laptop in. Oh my goodness, now everything's humming. So we're buttering the back of the focal image with some gel mediums and going to stick that onto our canvas board. Now you don't want to overly butter it because you don't want it all squished out. Well, some of it's going to squish out. Yeah. Clean it up. Make sure it's pretty straight. Pretty much as straight as I'm going to get it because I don't answer no rulers. So while everyone was blinking, I went around portions of the die cut with a Derwent watercolor pencil and activated that with matte medium. Gonna glue on some rickrack because I just like the mask with the ribbons on it, okay? But I didn't like the threads. I like this rickrack. Makes me happy. And yeah, they're extra long because they're gonna hang around and over the frame and whatnot. It's when we get to that part. Gonna weigh them down with craft paint bottles and glue on our letter. So, cleaning up the extra gluage. I don't like it. Even though I'm going to be putting on here momentarily, putting on some big old honking globs of glass beads. Comes in a gel medium. And we're throwing on some little tiny watch parts. And it's got some kind of silver thing in there, like a little stick thing. I don't know what it's for, but it's with all these little clock parts, so it's good. It's all going to get glued on there. And putting the glass beads all over the place, as you can see. And then that needs to dry for a couple of days. It takes it a while to dry. I mean, it'd dry faster if I brought it in the house where it was in a controlled environment instead of out in the studio where I only turn on the air conditioner or the heater as needed. So, yeah, it can be a little humid out there. Smearing it around, and like I said, it's going to dry for a couple of days, and then I add more. And more little watch parts and stuff like that. So, yeah. Makes me happy. Yeah. Putting those out so I don't lose any of them because they got some sharpness on there. And it's a lot of hurt if I step on it barefooted because, you know, it could happen. I do go barefooted and whatnot and stuff. So there we go. That's a wire that sprung, and I got that all stuck on there, and I'm putting some more glass beads around it because I want it to kind of look all melty, you know, kind of like the glass is shattered. And that's a watch face. Well, obviously y'all can see that watch face. So yeah. What else? Cleaning up around the edges. Now we're adding, because that other part has dried, and we're adding some more. I want it to kind of, like it spilled, I don't know, spilled over. I can't explain it. Can't explain it, Lucy. It's Lucy. Add more watch parts. Maybe I have too many watch parts. Can you ever have too many watch parts? I don't know about that. So instead of my voiceover being slow, I think it might be too fast, too slow. Oh, I don't know. Now I'm really confused, people. So anywho, just moving along, adding more watch parts, more beads. It's going to dry for a couple of days. Get it in the frame. Get it all framed up. I have that little ribbon hanging out, and around the frame I added some clock hands. That's it. That's the ticket. Clock hands. Can you see them? There's 3 of them. One of them's, yeah, they're in 10. So there we go. Photo montage. Oh, I really appreciate each and every one of you for the loving encouragement you give me, your kind comments, your thumbs up, and all your shares. I truly appreciate you watching. So yeah, we're gonna roll this one up. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all.